Okay. Okay.
So you can start now. You can
Okay.
introduce yourself, what you're going to speak on, and then we can
Hare
get
Krishna,
into.
everyone. I'm Shyamalangi-devi Dasi, and today I'll be talking about Queen Kunti's prayers. We have a marathon going on where we have a goal to learn um, Kunti's prayers, which is Srimad Bhagavatam chapter 1, 18 to 43. And this is what basically that's what has motivated me to talk a little more about that, because we are supposed to know the verses and the meanings also. So if you already know the prayers, very good. If you're in the process of learning, even better. And if you don't know, then I hope you get some motivation and start learning, because the prayers are um, very, very, it's very heartfelt. You can make out once you read the prayers. We can start the class now. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन, यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन, यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन, जमुनातीरावनचारि, जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन, यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन, यमुनातीरावनचारि, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी. Okay, Prabhu, so are you sharing screen? Because I am not able to see for some reason. Um,
Yes, Mataji, I'm sharing screen.
for whatever reason, I'm not
Okay, let me
seeing.
share again.
Are the others seeing? Sukharupa, are you able to see Prabhu's screen?
Yeah, I can see when he was sharing
Oh,
Radha Madhav. Yeah.
okay, okay. Now I think I'm okay. Now I'm maybe some my setting also. Okay, now I'm able to see. Okay, good. Okay, we'll do the Mangala Charans now. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanto Namostute. तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण। ओके, निताई नामिने छे नामेर हाटे श्रद्धामूल नाम दीते छे रे। नामिने छे नामेर हाटे श्रद्धामूल्य नाम दीते छे रे। निताई नामिने छे नामेर हाटे श्रद्धामूल्य नाम दीते छे रे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay, Prabhu, so I will share my
Yes,
screen
Mataji, you
now.
can go ahead and share your screen.
Okay, I'm not seeing the share button anymore, but let me try once more. Okay, no, yeah, I saw it. I saw it. Okay. Okay. So we'll be talking about Queen Kunti's prayers. Um, just a bit of background. So when does Queen Kunti, offer these prayers to Krishna? After the Kurukshetra war, Krishna stays in Hastinapur for some time. He wanted to encourage the new king Yudhishthir after they have defeated the Kauravas. Yudhishthir was always very righteous, and Krishna wanted him to be the king and sit on the throne of Hastinapur. Krishna always wants good people, and great devotees to rule. He doesn't want selfish, and selfish people are not basically meant to be leaders. And Krishna orchestrated this entire war to establish righteousness on the throne of Hastinapur. He guided Yudhishthira to perform horse sacrifices, Ashwamedha yajnas. I think three. He guided him to do three of them and establish his supremacy on the entire planet. Um, After spending some time, Krishna wanted to go back to his own kingdom, Dwarika. He took permission from all the Hastinapur Vasis, mainly Queen Kunti and the Pandavas, and he mounted his chariot. He just got into his chariot and sat, and suddenly he saw that Uttara was coming, running towards him, asking for protection. Uh, she was in great danger. A fiery arrow was coming upon her, and someone obviously wanted to destroy her. And she was pregnant. She had a child. Somebody definitely wanted to destroy her and the child in her womb. And who is Uttara? Uttara was the daughter-in-law of the Pandavas, and she was the wife of Abhimanyu, who was killed in the Kurukshetra war by deceit. And she was pregnant with Abhimanyu's child. So Krishna, when he saw Uttara coming toward him with great anxiety, he understood the whole situation. Ashwatthama had released Brahmastra to destroy the last descendant of the Pandavas. Ashwatthama was the son of Drona, and he was a friend of Duryodhan. He fought on the Kaurava side during the Kurukshetra war. He was he considered Duryodhan to be his master, and just for Duryodhan, he did a lot of evil and ghastly deeds. In fact, just before this incident, he had killed Draupadi's five sleeping innocent sons, and then he ran away. And when Draupadi noticed, Arjuna like chases Ashwatthama, and he arrests him and gets him to the camp. And Bhima and the other Pandavas, they wanted to punish him immediately, but when they consulted with Draupadi, she forgave him. Basically, there's a lot of reasons given in the previous chapter. This is chapter 1.8 that we are discussing. In this 1.7, Srimad Bhagavatam, several reasons are given, but some of the prominent ones were that Ashwatthama was the son of a Brahmana, son of their guru. Dronacharya was Arjuna's guru, so son of a Brahmana and a guru. So definitely Draupadi did not like the idea of killing him. And also, as a woman, she thought about Kripi, who was Ashwatthama's mother. She did not want her to suffer the same pain, what she was going through. She understood, how painful it can be, and she was sympathetic towards Kripi. And so um, the Pandavas forgave Ashwatthama, but just as a punishment, they removed his hair and a jewel that Ashwatthama had. That was also like taking away the honor is similar to a, death. So that's how they punished Ashwatthama. Um, Ashwatthama, he went back after he was released, but he 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 discharged another Brahmastra to the last descendant of Pandavas who was still in the womb. He was not yet born. Um, the Pandavas were so compassionate and kind to Ashwatthama, but he had no gratitude. He had a lot of envy for the Pandavas, and the envy, that instigated all these cruel tendencies. He decided to kill a child who was not yet born. This child, as we all know, was later going to be the great Emperor Parikshit Maharaj. So Uttara came crying for help towards Krishna. Pandavas were also there, but she naturally, as a devotee, went straight to Krishna, and she said that no one else can save me other than you. She was like totally surrendered, and she tells that Krishna, please save my embryo. You may kill me. I may get killed. That's not a problem, but my child should be protected. Um, Before this, after the sons of Draupadi was killed, Ashwatthama had discharged a Brahmastra at that time also. And that Brahmastra was going after Arjuna. And at that time, Arjuna had also taken shelter of Krishna. And Krishna guided him. Uh, Ashwatthama knew how to release a Brahmastra, but he did not know how to withdraw. So Krishna guided Arjuna that you also release one Brahmastra and withdraw both of them together. So at that time also, Arjuna had taken protection from Krishna. Devotees always take shelter of Krishna, and it's very natural for them, just like a child take, the shelter of the mother. So Krishna, understanding the situation of Uttara, took his Sudarshan disc. He became the size of a thumb. That's in chapter 12, I think 1.12. They say Angushta Matram, size of a thumb. He enters Uttara's womb, and he by his own radiance he counteracts the Brahmastra which was there in the womb, and he protects Parikshit. And that's why Parikshit is called Vishnu Rata, because he was protected by Krishna while in the womb. And he also gave darshan to Parikshit at that time. And later King Parikshit, as we all know, just before his death, he was protected by Srimad Bhagavatam, who is non-different from Krishna, just a book form of Krishna. So after this incident again, Krishna comes back to his chariot, and he's about to leave and depart from Hastinapur. And at that time, Queen Kunti comes. She says that, now you are leaving, and without you, we cannot survive. You've been helping us again and again and again, and just now you protected Uttara's child. Please don't leave us. She is like, her heart is full of gratitude. She doesn't want it. She can't take separation, and she expresses her complete dependence on Krishna. and she offers very, very heartfelt prayers requesting Krishna to stay back. And these prayers are from chapter 8 of the first canto, verses 18 to 43, which we will be just going through right now. And then a little about Queen Kunti. She was a very noble and chaste lady. She lost her husband when she was very young. She had five sons. Three of her were her own, and two others from the co-wife, Pandu's other wife, Madri. And she undergoes a lot of difficulties because as she brings up these children, the Kauravas, they did all kind of evil tricks to destroy the Pandavas. But every time they took shelter, the Pandavas and Queen Kunti, they took shelter of Krishna, and Krishna undoubtedly protected them. So, and yeah, so Queen Kunti is also the maternal aunt of Krishna. So that's the relation between them. So now we can go into the prayers. Let's see. Sorry. So first verses 18 to 20, the first three verses, they are about knowing the Lord. And I took these chapter breakdown from Gaurang Darshan Prabhu's Subodhini. So I followed the chapter breakdown from there. Text 18. Kunti Uvacha Namasye
Mataji,
Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakrite Param Alaksham Sarvabhutanam Antarbahirabashtitam. Synonyms. I think we have enough time to go through the
Mataji, are you
synonyms
sharing?
also. Prabhu, are you saying something? I'm not sharing?
No, not yet. We can't see.
Oh, you didn't? Oh my God. Okay, sorry. Am I sharing
Yes,
now?
now we can see.
Okay, okay. Synonyms. Kunti Uvacha. Srimati Kunti said, Namasye, let me bow down. Purusham, the Supreme Person, Tva, you, Adyam, the original, Ishwaram, the controller, Prakritehe, of the material cosmos, Param, beyond, Alakshyam, the invisible, Sarva, all, Bhutanam, of living beings, Antaha, within, Bahi, without, Avastitam, existing. The translation goes like this. Srimati Kunti said, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. So, if you see, so what does Kunti, okay, I think, so you haven't seen the previous slide, so this is, am I still sharing or did it go away?
No, Mataji, they is still coming up.
Okay, good. So yeah, I had put some slides, but not much. So before this, so these first three verses, okay. So in this verse, she calls him Purusham Tvadyam. Purusha, like the supreme person and the original supreme person. Um, in Brahma Samhita, Brahma also calls Krishna Ishvara Parama Krishna. No, sorry, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So Adi Purusha has been used there also. And Krishna is the Ishwar, the controller. He's actually the supreme controller. There may be many other controllers like Deva, Indra, and the other devas, but Krishna is the supreme controller. And then Prakriti of the material cosmos, Param beyond. So he is unaffected by the qualities of the material world. Krishna doesn't have to undergo, birth, disease, old age, and death like the ordinary people. Here, he may be acting like Kunti's nephew, but Kunti knows that he is God. And she says, you are existing both within and without everything. Krishna he's in our heart, as we know in Bhagavad Gita, Maya tatam idam sarvam, jagata murtina, matsthani sarva bhutani, nachaham tesh avishrita. And then, in this verse from Bhagavad Gita, it says that he's pervading everywhere. And he is also in the heart. So Bhagavad Gita says, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshe arjuna tishtati. So Krishna exists both within and without everything. and yet he is invisible to all. So, why does that happen? Why is he invisible to all? And there must be some qualification to see Krishna. So, Krishna chooses whom to reveal himself and whom not to. And again, we have the verse in Bhagavad Gita, Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavritah mudhoyam nabhi janati loko mam ajam avyayam. I am never manifest to the foolish and the unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. He's like the sun, he's there always, but if we are, inside our homes or if there's a cloud, we may not be seeing the sun. But Krishna is there always, but yet he is invisible to us. And the next verse, Maya Javanikachannam Agnyadhokshajam Avyayam Na Lakshase Mudha Nato Natyadharo Yatha. Maya, deluding, Javanika, curtain, Achannam, covered by, Agnya, ignorant, Adhokshajam, beyond the range of material conception, transcendental, Avyayam, irreproachable, Na, not, Lakshase, observed, Mudha Drisha, by the foolish observer, Nataha, artist, Natyadhara, dressed as a player, Yatha, as. Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of your deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. So, Krishna, Krishna is there, but our senses are covered by a curtain of Maya, Javanika, that's curtain, and Maya is Krishna's deluding energy, and we are like the not like the ignorant. So they are they are covered. Their senses are covered by Krishna's deluding energy, and they cannot see Krishna. Okay, so next, but and the analogy is given nato natya dharo yatha. So there may be an actor playing some role on the stage, and we are not able to recognize the actual person. Similarly, Krishna is there, but if you're foolish and if your senses are covered by Maya, we will not be able to recognize Krishna even if he is there. If we have love for God, Krishna, if we have devotion for Krishna, then Krishna understands, and then he may choose to reveal himself. But other than that, he may not. Kunti Maharani knows she can recognize Krishna as God because of her devotion. Krishna reveals that thing to her. And this Mudha Drisha is the foolish observer. So this is an sorry. Okay, next verse, text 20. तथा परमहंसानां मुनीनाममलात्मनां भक्तियोगविधानार्थं कथं पश्येम हि स्त्रियः. Tatha, besides that, Paramahamsanam, of the advanced transcendentalists, Muninam, of the great philosophers or mental speculators, Amala Atmanam, those whose minds are competent to discern between spirit and matter. Bhakti Yoga, the science of devotional service. Vidhanartham, for executing. Katham, how. Pashema, can observe. He, certainly. Striyaha, woman. You yourself descend to propagate the transcendental science of devotional service unto the hearts of advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators, who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How then can we women know you perfectly? So great devotees like the Paramahamsas, the Munis, and Amala Atmanam, whose mind are competent to discern between spirit and matter. These great people, they are able to see Krishna, um, they are able to understand Krishna and see Krishna, and because they have bhakti in their hearts. Only by performing bhakti they can see. Without bhakti, nobody can see. And Kunti says, I am just an ordinary woman. How can I know you perfectly? I'm not a Paramahamsa or a Muni or a Amalatmana. So here Kunti Devi, she's presenting herself as ordinary because she is very, very humble. Uh, Actually, she is very, very extraordinary. Even her prayers, are like there's so much devotion in the prayers that even exalted saints and devotees may aspire to follow in her mood and in her footsteps. Mm, the purport is nice for this one. Let's see if I can share. Sorry, text 20. The purport is small, we'll just read it. Even the greatest philosophical speculators cannot have access to the region of the Lord. It is said in the Upanishads that the supreme truth, the absolute personality of Godhead, is beyond the range of the thinking power of the greatest philosopher. He is unknowable by great learning or by the greatest brain. He is knowable only by one who has his mercy. Others may go on thinking for him for years together, yet he is unknowable. This very fact is corroborated by the queen who is playing the part of an innocent woman. Women in general are unable to speculate like philosophers, but they are blessed by the Lord because they believe at once in the superiority and almightiness of the Lord, and thus they offer obeisances without reservation. The Lord is so kind that he does not show special favor only to the one who is a great philosopher. He knows the sincerity of purpose. For this reason only, women generally assemble in great number in any sort of religious function. In every country and in every sect of religion, it appears that the women are more interested than the men. This simplicity of acceptance of Lord's authority is more effective than the showy, insincere religious fervor. So the message is that through bhakti anyone can approach Lord. It need not be some big transcendentalist or very learned person. A simple woman, a small child, anybody can approach the Lord by bhakti. I'm going back to the sorry, slideshow. Okay, so that was the first set of verses, knowing Krishna. Kunti Maharani talks. Next set of verses, she talks about that she is very fortunate to have had Krishna's reciprocation, verses 21 to 25. Text 21. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Krishnaya, the Supreme Lord, Vasudevaya, unto the son of Vasudev, Devaki Nandanaya, unto the son of Devaki, Cha and Nandagopa, Nanda and the cowherdmen, Kumaraya unto their son, Govindaya unto the personality of Godhead who enlivens the cows and the senses, Namaha respectful obeisances, Namaha obeisances. Translation. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudev, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda and the other cowherd men of Vrindavan, and the enlivener of the cow and the senses. So here we see that Kunti Maharani is calling Krishna, she is calling Krishnaya Vasudevaya, Vasudeva. So his name is Vasudev because he's the son of Vasudev. And then Devaki Nandan because he's the son of Devaki. Nanda Gopa Kumara, he's the son of Nanda Gopa, Nanda and the cowherd boy, he's their boy. And then Govindaya, so unto the personality of Godhead who enlivens the cows and the senses, and she pays her obeisances. So the names, the various names of Krishna here are related to his, his qualities or his activities or the specific devotees. So all his names are based on that. And here we see all the Vatsalya devotees named here. And one thing to note is that Yashoda's name is not here because for Yashoda he has a full different, she has a different verse. Yashoda is definitely superior to all the other devotees whom we are reading about here. Um, this purport was also good. We can see later. Text 22. Namaha Pankajanaಭಾಯ Namaha Pankajamaline Namaha Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye Namaha, all respectful obeisances, Pankajanabhaya, unto the Lord who has a specific depression resembling a lotus flower in the center of his abdomen. Namaha, obeisances, Pankajamaline, one who is always decorated with a garland of lotus flowers. Namaha, obeisances. Pankajanetraya, one whose glance is as cooling as a lotus flower. Namaha te, respectful obeisances unto you. Pankaja angraye, unto you, the soles of whose feet are engraved with lotus flowers, and who are therefore said to possess lotus feet. Translation: My respectful obeisances are unto you, O Lord, whose abdomen is marked with a depression like a lotus flower, who are always decorated with garlands of lotus flowers, whose glance is as cool as the lotus, and whose feet are engraved with the lotuses. So Kunti is, she's seeing a great beauty in all the limbs of Krishna. And actually, for this one, I will read from the purport. There is one important thing here. Sorry. So here Srila Prabhupada tells us one should begin to see the Lord from his lotus feet, gradually rising to the thighs, waist, chest, and face. One should not try to look at the face of the Lord without being accustomed to seeing the lotus feet of the Lord. Srimati Kunti, because of her being the aunt of the Lord, did not begin to see the Lord from the lotus feet because the Lord might feel ashamed. And thus Kunti Devi, just to save a painful situation for the Lord, began to see the Lord just above his lotus feet, that is, from the waist of the Lord, gradually rising to the face and then down to the lotus feet. In the round, everything there is in order. So Kunti Maharani, she did not want to embarrass Krishna. She was his aunt, and as an aunt, she didn't want to, go to the lotus feet first. But eventually, she does come, and in a circle, she goes from her navel, goes up, and then to the lotus feet. Okay, where did my PowerPoint go? Sorry. Okay, text 23. यथा ऋषिकेशखलेन देवकी कंसेन रुद्धाति चिरं सुचार्पिता विमोचिताहं च सहात्मजा विभो त्वयैव नाथेन मुहुर्विपद्गणात्. Yatha, as it were, Rishikesha, the master of the senses, Khalena, by the envious, Devaki, the mother of Sri Krishna, Kamsena, by King Kamsa, Ruddha, imprisoned, Atichiram, for a long time, Sucha Arpita, distressed, Vimochita, released, Ahamcha, also myself, Saha Atmaja, along with my children, Vibho, O Great One, Tvaya eva, by your lordship, Nathena, as the protector, Muhu, constantly, Vipadganath, from a series of danger. Translation: O Rishikesha, master of the senses and lord of the lords, you have released your mother Devaki, who was long imprisoned and distressed by the envious king Kamsa, and me and my children from a series of constant dangers. So she is grateful. Kunti Devi is very grateful here for the Lord's reciprocation. And she talks about Kamsa, who is actually a brother of Devaki, but he's totally a villain. Uh, he used to have a lot of affection for Draupadi until there was the Akashvani, where there was, it was said that the eighth child of Devaki will kill Kamsa. So he got very furious and he wanted to kill Devaki right away, but somehow Vasudev was able to pacify him, saying that he will give every newborn child to Kamsa. And he said that you can do whatever you want to with the child. And that's what that happened. And he Vasudev gave the first six sons of Devaki to Kamsa, and Kamsa killed them immediately. So Kunti Maharani is now thinking here that, she probably is more fortunate than Devaki, because Devaki, even though she was the mother of Krishna, she lost her six sons, but Krishna saved all the sons of Devaki, of Kunti, in every situation. And why was that? So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that this was done because Devaki's husband Vasudeva was living, whereas Kunti Devi was a widow, and there was none to help her except Krishna. The conclusion is that Krishna endows more favor to a devotee who is in great dangers. Sometimes he puts his pure devotees in such dangers because in that condition of helplessness, the devotee becomes more attached to the Lord. The more the attachment is there for the Lord, the more success is there for the devotee. Um, Even though, like here, Kunti is thinking that she is probably getting more mercy than Devaki, but we should not minimize Devaki's position. Krishna took birth as a son, so she is a very special devotee. And actually, after he goes to Dwarika, he was able to revive all those six killed sons. Still, the message is that Krishna is affectionate to devotees who are more helpless and more surrendered. Text 24. विशान्महाग्ने पुरुषाददर्शनाद् असत्सभाया वनवासकृच्छ्रतः वृधे वृधेनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रोण्यस्त्रतश्चास्महरेभिरक्षितः Vishat from poison, Maha Agnehe from the great fire, Purusha Ada the man eaters, Darshanat by combating, Asat Visyash, Sabhaya assembly, Vanavasa exiled to the forest, Krichrataha sufferings, Mridhe Mridhe again and again in the battle, Aneka many, Maharatha great generals, Astrataha weapons, Droni the son of Dronacharya, Astrataha from the weapon of Cha and Asma indicating past tense, Hare, O my Lord, Abhirakshita protected completely. Translation: My dear Krishna, your lordship has protected us from the poisoned cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exiles in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama. So here, Kunti Maharani is talking about some of the various, not all, but some of the situations where they were in deep danger and Krishna came and saved them. So she talks about the poisoned cake. This happened to Bhima, where the Kauravas tried to poison him. They were protected from a great fire in the Lakshagriha. They tried to burn the house of the Pandavas where they were living from cannibals. So they met Hidimbasura, and I forget, there was another big Rakshas whom they meet during their exile time. And then from the vicious assembly where Draupadi was, dragged by her hair, and she was tried to be disrobed in front of so many men. That was done by Dushasana. And no one was able to protect her. She cried out, but none of her husbands, nor Bhishma, nor Drona, nobody could help her. But Krishna protected her. And Krishna always protects somebody who, calls out to him. He protected her in the form of an unlimited long sari. And yeah, and that's how Draupadi got saved from being disrobing in front of so many men. And even during the exile, they fall into several kind of dangers. And then finally, in the Kurukshetra battle, there were so many great warriors. But every time, the Pandavas, they got help, Krishna's help, and they got protected from all dangers, and then finally they won the war. And then Kunti says, and now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama. So she is meaning that Ashwatthama's Brahmastra, which had entered Uttara's womb to kill Parikshit Maharaj, Krishna now he has saved them from that. Okay, so Krishna is basically the ultimate protector. So now the next part of the verses is verses 26 to 28, which talks about qualification to approach Krishna. Who can approach Krishna? Text number 26. जन्मैश्वर्याश्रुता श्रीभिरेधमानामदः पुमान् नैवार्हति अभिधातुं वै त्वामकिञ्चन गोचरम्. Janma, birth, Aishwarya, opulence, Shruta, education, Shribhi, by the possession of beauty, Edhamana, progressively increasing, Madaha, intoxication, Puman, the human being, Na, never, Eva, ever, Arhati, deserves, Abhidhatum, to address in feeling, Vai, certainly, Tvam, you, Akinchana Gocharam, one who is approached easily by the materially exhausted man. Translation: My lord, your lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, cannot approach you with a sincere feeling. So, who can approach Krishna? All these, these designations of birth, opulence, education, and Shri. If one has high birth, like a very established family, is very wealthy, highly educated, possession of beauty, all these things can make a person proud. And pride is the barrier which, and that stops us from approaching Krishna. If we have any of these four items, or maybe all, we may get a lot of confidence on our own strengths and our position, and we may be unwilling to take shelter of God because we have so much confidence that we can do everything. It's actually a danger to have these kinds of material qualifications. And Krishna is Akinchana Gocharam. He is, he can be approached by one who is materially exhausted. Uh, One thing to notice, uh, it's not that somebody who is rich or has a high birth or is very good looking or educated cannot be a devotee. It's not like that. It's when the pride doesn't creep in. That's the key thing here. And it's not true that even all poor people or all not good looking people are devotees of Krishna. Basically, um, who is surrendered, who may have a lot of possessions but not possessive about them. They are always dependent on Krishna and they are able to take shelter of the Lord. That is the actual qualification. But usually, all these high material, qualifications can make one proud. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we see many kings like Ambarish Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj. They are all, they are good looking, they are educated, they have high birth, but still they are exalted devotees because they are not puffed up with these material qualifications. So to have them is not wrong, but being proud of them is the wrong attitude. Text 27. नमो किञ्चन वित्ताय निवृत्तागुणवृत्तये आत्मारामाय शान्ताय कैवल्यपतये नमः. Namaha, all obeisances unto you, Akinchana Vittaya, unto the property of the materially impoverished, Nivritta, completely transcendental to the actions of the material modes, Guna, material modes, Vrittaye, affection, Atma, Atma Aramaya, Atmaramaya, basically, one who is self-satisfied, Shantaya, the most gentle, Kaivalya Patai, unto the master of the monist, Namaha, bowing down. My obeisances are unto you, who are the property of the materially impoverished. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material modes of nature. You are self-satisfied, and therefore you are the most gentle and are the master of the monists. So the same thought process is here, that he is the property of the materially impoverished. And Kunti Maharani tells, you have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material modes of nature. You are beyond the material modes of nature. You're always self-satisfied. He's very gentle, and he's able to give liberation to the monists. He is able to give liberation to all actually, and even to the monists. And I pay my obeisances to you. Text 28. मन्ये त्वां कालमीशानम् अनाधिनिधनं विभुं समं चरन्तं सर्वत्र भूतानां यन्मिथः कलिः. Manye, I consider, Twam, your lordship, Kalam, the eternal time, Ishanam, the supreme lord, Anadi Nidhanam, without beginning and end, Vibhum, all pervading, Samam, equally merciful, Charantam, distributing, Sarvatra, everywhere, Bhutanam, of the living beings, Yat Mithaha, by intercourse, Kalihi, dissension. Translation: My Lord, I consider your Lordship to be eternal time, the supreme controller, without beginning and end, the all-pervasive one. In distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. The dissensions between the living beings are due to social intercourse. So here, sorry, I think I jumped somewhere. Yeah, here Queen Kunti addresses Krishna to be the eternal time. uh, an eternal time which has no beginning and end and is all pervasive. In this, and time is, I mean, Krishna and time both, they are equal in distributing the mercy. They are equal to everyone. It's not that, the time factor doesn't act on one and acts on only on somebody. And Krishna is also like that. He's equal to everyone. But we may sense differences, and that's because of our own, our the dissension between living beings are due to social intercourse. So if we, so one example, like, everyone will die at some time, but we feel that, okay, somebody is dying faster, somebody is dying, at a later time. But that's not because the time is, acting differently on somebody, and like is partial to somebody and not partial to somebody else. But that's because of our past deeds. We all of us have, a baggage of reactions from our past karma, and the Lord just reciprocates. He's not partial to anybody. He's just reciprocating based on our desires. Next set of verses, verse 29 to 31, these talk about the mysterious nature of Lord's activities. Text 29. Naveda kaschit bhagavam chikirshitam tavehamanasya ninam vidambanam nayasya kaschit daitosti karhichid veshyascha yasmin vishamamatir ninam. Na does not, Veda no, Kashchit anyone, Bhagavan O Lord, Chikirshitam pastimes, Tava your, Iha Manasya like the worldly men, Ninam of the people in general, Vidambanam misleading, Na never, Yasya his, Kashchit anyone, Daitaha object of specific favor, Asti there is, Karhichit anywhere, Dveshya object of envy, Cha and Yasmin unto him, Vishama partiality, Matihi conception, Rina of the people. So again in this, okay, let's read the translation first. O Lord, no one can understand your transcendental pastimes, which appear to be human and so are misleading. You have no specific object of favor, nor do you have any object of envy. People only imagine that you are partial. This is again related to again Krishna's partiality. Krishna is not partial, as we read even in the previous verse. He he may seem partial, but actually he's just reciprocating as per our desires. And I want to read from the purport here. Okay, so in the purport, the Lord's mercy upon the fallen souls is equally distributed. He has no one as the specific object of hostility. The very conception of the personality of God as a human being is misleading. His pastimes appear to be exactly like a human being's, but actually they are transcendental and without any tinge of material contamination. He is undoubtedly known as partial to his pure devotees, but in fact he is never partial, as much as the sun is never partial to anyone. By utilizing the sun rays, sometimes even the stones become valuable, whereas a blind man cannot see the sun, although there are enough sun rays before him. Darkness and light are two opposite conceptions, but this does not mean that the sun is partial in distributing its rays. The sun rays are open to everyone, but the capacities of the receptacles differ. And here, towards the end, when the Lord descends to this material world by his all merciful energy, he plays like a human being, and therefore it appears that the Lord is partial to his devotees only, but that is not a fact. Despite such apparent manifestation of partiality, his mercy is equally distributed. In the battle of Kurukshetra, all persons who died in the fight before the presence of the Lord got salvation without the necessary qualifications, because death before the presence of the Lord purifies the passing soul from the effect of all sins, and therefore the dying man gets a place somewhere in the transcendental abode. Somehow or other, if someone puts himself open in the sun rays, he is sure to get the requisite benefit, both by heat and by ultraviolet rays. Therefore, the conclusion is that the Lord is never partial. It is wrong for the people in general to think of him as partial. Okay, we'll go to text 30. जन्म कर्म च विश्वात्मन् अजस्या कर्तुरात्मनः तिर्यन् ऋषिषु यादाशु तदत्यन्तविडम्बनम्. Janma, birth, karma, activity, cha, and Vishwa Atman, O soul of the universe, Ajasya, of the unborn, Akartu, of the inactive, Atmanaha, of the vital energy, Tiryak, animal, Nri, human being, Rishishu, in the sages, Yadhashu, in the water, Tat, that, Atyanta, veritable, Vidambanam, bewildering. Translation. Of course it is bewildering, O soul of the universe, that you work, though you are inactive, and that you take birth, though you are the vital force and the unborn. You yourself descend among animals, men, sages, and aquatics. Verily, this is bewildering. So, Krishna's, appearances and activities, they are all contradictory and thus they are bewildering to us. He is unborn. Krishna is always there, and yet he appears to, take birth from, as when he comes as incarnation, he appears to take birth from his parent, like from his mother. And he does not need to do any work because, he's self-sufficient, but still he's doing something or the other. So it's just very bewildering. The next verse also has talks about a contradictory pastime. Text 31. गोप्या ददे त्वयि कृतागशिदाम तावद् याते दशाश्रुकलिलाञ्जनसम्भ्रमाक्षम् वक्त्रं निनीय वक्त्रं निनीय भयभावनया स्थितस्य सा मां विमोहयतिभिरपि यद्बिभेति. Gopi, the cowherd lady, Yashoda, a dade, took up Tvai, on your Kritagasi, creating disturbances by breaking the butter pot, Dama, rope, Tavat, at that time, Ya, that which, Te, your, Dasha, situation, Ashru, Kalila, overflooded with tears, Anjana, ointment, Sambrama, perturbed, Aksham, eyes, Vaktram, face, Niniya, downwards, Bhaya Bhavanaya, by thoughts of fear, Stitasya, of the situation, Sa, that, Mam, me, Vimohayati, bewilders, bhi api, even fear personified, yat, whom Bibeti is afraid. My dear Krishna, Yashoda took up a rope to bind you when you committed an offense, and your perturbed eyes overflooded with tears, which washed the mascara from your eyes. And you were afraid, though fear personified is afraid of you. This sight is very bewildering to me. So we were talking of contradictions, and this is a verse where such contradictions we see again. Krishna is fear personified, but in this case, in this pastime, he is fearful of his mother Yashoda, and his eye. There are tears flowing down from his eyes, which is washing off the mascara, the ointment from his eyes. Yashoda was trying to tie him up. This is, very such a famous pastime. They're really, really bewildering. And okay, and I had mentioned in that previous verse where Nanda Gopa and Devaki, Vasudeva were mentioned, Yashoda was not mentioned there. For her, Kunti Devi reserved a full verse in this, and this is the one. Next. Next, verses 32 to 20. Okay, this should be 36, sorry. 32 to 36. They tell us different opinions on the Lord's birth. Text 32. केचिदाहुरहं जातं पुण्यश्लोकस्य कीर्तये यदोः प्रियस्यान्ववाये मलयस्येव चन्दनम्. Kechit, someone, Ahu, says, Ajam, the unborn, Jatam, being born, Punya Shlokasya, of the great pious king, Kirtaye, for glorifying, Yadoho, of King Yadu, Priyasya, of the dear, Anvavaye, in the family of Malayasya, Malaya hills, Iva, as Chandanam, sandalwood. Translation. Some say that the unborn is born for the glorification of the pious kings, and others say that he is born to please King Yadu, one of your dearest devotees. You appear in his family as sandalwood appears in the Malaya hill. So there are two reasons given here. So some say that you are born for the glorification of pious kings. Here it's indicating Yudhishthira. The others say that you're born to please King Yadu, who is one of the greatest devotees. But actually, you appear in the family just to glorify them. Otherwise, it's not that, just like sandalwood. Because sandalwood is on the Malaya Hills is, popular and famous. It's glorified that, sandalwood grows in Malaya Hills. But sandalwood can grow anywhere. It just happens that, it's there in the Malaya Hills. Similarly, Krishna can be born anywhere, but by his own sweet will, he chooses to be born in one family. And that's just to please his devotees and to glorify them. Text 33. अपरे वसुदेवस्य देवक्यां याचितोऽभ्यगात् अजस्त्वमस्य क्षेमाय वधाय च सुरद्विषाम्. Apare, others, Vasudevasya, of Vasudev, Devakyam, of Devaki, Yachitah, being prayed for, Abhyagat, took birth, Ajaha, unborn, Tvam, you are, Asya, of him, Shemaya, for the good, Vadhaya, for the purpose of killing, Cha, and Suradvisham, of those who are envious of the demigods. Translations. Translation. Others say that since both Vasudev and Devaki prayed for you, you have taken your birth as their son. Undoubtedly, you are unborn, yet you take your birth for their welfare and to kill those who are envious of the demigods. So there are some other reasons here given here. So one is that Krishna came to answer the prayer of Vasudeva and Devaki, who prayed to Krishna so that he can take birth as their son. So that was one reason here. And the next was that he comes for the welfare of all, for welfare of everyone in the world, and to kill the envious, who are and to kill those who are envious of the demigod, the miscreants. So first, in the previous verse, we saw two reasons. One was to glorify pious king. Second one was to please his devotees like King Yadu. And now we are seeing three more reasons here: to answer the prayers of Vasudeva and Devaki. Next one is to for the welfare of all, and last is to kill the miscreants. So three reasons we see here. And then next verse, text 34. भारावतारणायान्ये भुवो नाव इवोदिधौ सीदन्त्य भूरि भारेण जातो यात्मा भुवार्थितः. Bhara avataranaaya, just to reduce the burden of the world. Anye, others. Bhuve, of the world. Navaha, boat. Iva, like. Udhadhav, on the sea. Sidantyah, aggrieved. Bhuri, extremely. Bharena, by the burden. Jatah, you were born. He, certainly. Atma Bhuva, by Brahma. Arthita, being prayed for. Translation. Others say that the world, being overburdened like a boat at sea, is much aggrieved, and that Brahma, who is your son, prayed for you, and so you have appeared to diminish the trouble. So, this is another reason given that Krishna came in response to Brahma's prayers. Text 35. भवेऽस्मिन् क्लिश्यमानानाम् अविद्याकामकर्मभिः श्रवणास्मरणार्हाणि करिष्यन् इति केचन. Bhave, in the material creation, asmin, this, klishyamananam, of those who are suffering from, avidya, nations, kama, desire, karmabhi, by the execution of fruitive work, shravana, hearing, smarana, remembering, arhani, worshipping, karishyan, may perform, iti, thus, kechana, others. Translation. And yet others say that to appear for the sake of rejuvenating the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshipping, and so on, in order that the conditioned souls suffering from material pangs might take advantage and gain liberation. So this is another opinion, and this is the actual reason, as said in the purports. So he comes to rejuvenate bhakti, and he wants to, inspire all the suffering people to take to devotional service and get relieved from all the material entanglement. And there is a portion in the purport. Sorry, text 35. The last paragraph. The Lord, however, out of his causeless mercy, because he is more merciful to the suffering living beings than they can expect, appears before them and renovates the principles of devotional service comprised of hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping, praying, cooperating, and surrendering unto him. Adoption of all the above mentioned items or any of them can help sorry, sorry, can help a conditioned soul get out of the tangle of nations and thus become liberated from all material sufferings created by the living being illusioned by the external energy. This particular type of mercy is bestowed upon the living being by the Lord in the form of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, we'll go back to the text 36. शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति अभीक्ष्णशः स्मरन्ति नन्दन्ति तवेहितं जनाः त एव पश्यन्ति अचिरेण तावकं भवप्रवाहो परमं पदाम्बुजम्. Shrinvanti, hear, gayanti, chant, grinanti, take, abhikshnashah, continuously. Smaranti, remember. Nandanti, take pleasure. Tava, your. Ihitam, activities. Janaha, people in general. Te, they. Eva, certainly. Pashyanti, can see. Achirena, very soon. Tavakam, your. Bhava pravaha, the current of rebirth. Uparamam, cessation. Pada ambujam, lotus feet. Translation: O Krishna, those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities or take pleasure in others doing so, certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. So here, Kunti talks about the potency of devotional service. So one who continuously hears, chants, and repeats, and even if somebody takes pleasure in others doing so, both can certainly see your lotus feet. Next set of verses is verses 37 to 43, where Queen Kunti appeals for more association of Krishna. She doesn't want him to go, so she sings some prayers asking him to stay back. Text 37. अप्यद्यनस्त्वं स्वकृते हिता प्रभो जिहाससि स्वित्सुहृदोऽनुजीविनः येषां न चान्यात् भवतः पदाम्बुजात् परायणं राजसु योजितां हसाम्. Api, if, adya, today, naha, us, tvam, you, swakrita, self-executed, ihita, all duties, prabho, O my Lord, jihasasi, giving up, swit, possibly, surida, intimate friends, anujivinaha, living at the mercy of, yesham, of whom, na, nor, cha, and, anyat, anyone else, bhavatah, your, pada ambujat, from the lotus feet, parayanam, dependent, rajasu, unto the kings, yojita, engaged in, amhasam, enmity. O my Lord, you have executed all duties yourself. Are you leaving us today, though we are completely dependent on your mercy and have no one else to protect us, now when all kings are at enmity with us? So Queen Kunti says that the Pandavas, they have regained the kingdom of Hastinapur by Krishna, by your grace, Krishna. But still, there are so many envious and inimical kings. Uh, you know, how will they be protected if you go away? And she requests him to stay back. She says that no one else will be able to protect us. Text 38. के वयं नामरूपाभ्यां यदुभिः सह पाण्डवः भवतो दर्शनं यर्हि ऋषिकानामिवेशितुः के who are vayam we nama rupabhyam without fame and ability yadubi with the yadus saha along with pandavaha and the Pandavas, Bhavatah, your, Adarshanam, absence, Yarhi, as if, Rishikanam, of the senses, Iva, like, Ishituhu, of the living being. Translation: as the name and fame of a particular body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit, similarly, if you do not look upon us, all our fame and activities, along with the Pandavas and the Yadus, will end at once. So here Kunti is saying that you are like the soul and we are like the body. So if you leave us, everything will be gone. All our fame and activities will end at once. This is similar to like a particular body which is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit. So here Krishna is like the soul and the Pandavas are like the body. And Kunti Maharani says that all the success that we have achieved till now is just because of your mercy, your grace, your support. Text 39. This is also a continuation of the same thoughts. Neyam shobhishyate tatra yathe danim gadadhara त्वत्पदैरङ्किता भाति स्वलक्षणा विलक्षितै. Na, not, Iyam, this land of our kingdom, Shobhishyati, will appear beautiful, Tatra, then, Yatha, as it is now, Idanim, now, Gadadhara, O Krishna, Tvat, your, Paday, by the feet, Ankita marked Bhati is dazzling, Swalakshana your own marks, Vilakshitai by the impressions. Translation: O Gadadhar, Krishna, now our kingdom is being marked by the impressions of your feet, and therefore it appears beautiful. But when you leave, it will no longer be so. Again, text 40 is also the same thought. How what will happen when Krishna is gone? Ime janapada sriddha supakvaushadi virudaha vanadrinadyudanvanto yedante tava vikshitai. Ime, all these, Janapadaha, cities and towns, Spriddha, flourished, Supakva, mature, Aushadhi, herbs, Virudaha, vegetables, Vana, forests, Adri, hills, Nadi, rivers, Udanvantaha, seas. He, certainly, Edante, increasing, Tava, by you, Vikshitai, seen. Translation: all these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and the grains are in abundance, the trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. So all the prosperity, that is there in Hastinapur and their kingdom is just because of Krishna's kind glance over them. Text 41. अथा विश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशम् इमं चिन्द्री दृढं पाण्डुषु वृष्णिषु. Atha, therefore, Vishwa Isha, O Lord of the universe, Vishwa Atman, O soul of the universe, Vishwamurte, a personality of the universal form, Svakeshu, unto my own kinsmen, me, may, my, Sneha Pashan, tie of affection, Imam, this, Chindi, cut off, Dirham, deep, Pandushu, for the Pandavas, Vrishnishu, for the Vrishnis also. Translation: O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please therefore sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. So this is a very, remarkable prayer that she is making. She's saying that, so till now she has been asking Krishna to stay back with the Pandavas, but suddenly she remembers about the Vrishnis, who are, Kunti's uh, maternal, like parents, that family, parental family. So she's thinking that, okay, if Krishna continues to stay with us, what will happen to the Vrishnis? And then she gets, she just thinks that this is too distracting. I have too much attachment for my sons and for my parents' family. So all these unnecessary disturbances are coming to my mind because of these attachments. So she's requesting Krishna, please cut off all these ties. Um, so having attachment is not the wrong thing, but the attachment should not be based on the skin and blood relationship because those are all temporary. Today somebody may be my son, but next birth we don't know. So the relationship is through God. So keeping Krishna in the center, and as devotees, all of us are parts and parcel of Krishna who are supposed to serve him. So that kind of spiritual relationship, connections to Krishna, that is valuable. Text 42. त्वयिमेनन्यविषया मतिर्मधुपते सकृत् रतिम् उद्वहता दग्धा गङ्गेवौघम् उदन्वती. Tvai, unto me, may, my, ananya vishaya, unalloyed, matihi, attention, madhupate, O Lord of Madhu, asakrit, continuously, ratim, attraction, udvahatat, may overflow, adha, directly, Ganga, the Ganges, Iva, like, Ogam, flows, Udanvati, down to the sea. Translation: O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows into the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. So she earlier she asked to cut off all the ties of affection, and now she says that all my dedication should be just to you without any kind of deviation. Similar to the Ganges, which even though with so many obstacles always flows to the ocean, I want my consciousness to be like that, which is always attracted to you constantly. Text 43. Shri Krishna Krishna Sakha Vrishni Rishabhavani Dhrug राजन्यवंशदहनानपवर्गवीर्या गोविन्द गोद्विजसुरार्तिहरावतारा योगेश्वर अखिल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते. Shri Krishna, O Shri Krishna, Krishna Sakha, O friend of Arjuna, Vrishni, of the descendants of Vrishni, Rishabha, O chief, Avani, the earth, Dhruk, rebellious, Rajanya Vamsha, dynasties of the kings, Dahana, O annihilator, Anapavarga, without deterioration of Virya, prowess, Govinda, O proprietor of the Golokadham, Go of the cows, Dvija, the Brahmanas, Sura, the demigods, Artihara, to relieve distress, Avatara, O Lord who descends, Yoga Ishvara, O master of all mystic powers, Akhila, universal, Guru, O preceptor, Bhagavan, O possessor of all opulence, Namahate, respectful obeisances unto you. O Krishna, O friend of Arjuna, O chief among the descendants of Vrishni, you are the destroyer of those political parties which are disturbing elements on this earth. Your prowess never deteriorates. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode, and you descend to relieve the distresses of the cows, the brahmanas, and the devotees. You possess all mystic powers, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are the Almighty God, and I offer you my respectful obeisances. This was the summary of all the glories of Krishna, and the last verse. Uh, One thing I wanted to check here is I have a feeling I missed a verse. Or maybe I did not. Okay. Um, I don't know if I read this verse. Maybe I missed
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah,
think I
sure.
missed it. Yeah. So I'll read it again. Yeah.
This one.
This is the like maybe the most important verse that I always think very remarkable. विपदा सन्तु ता शश्वत् तत्र तत्र जगद्गुरो भवतो दर्शनं यत् स्याद् अपुनर्भवदर्शनम्. विपदा, calamities, santu, let there be, taha, all, shashvat, again and again, tatra, there, tatra, and there, jagadguru, O Lord of the universe, bhavata, your, darshanam, meeting, yat, that which, syat, is, apunaha, not again, Bhavadarshanam, seeing the repetition of birth and death. Translation: I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. So this is right after that verse. Sorry, I missed earlier when Kunti talks about the various situations where they were in great danger, and Krishna repeatedly again and again saved them, protected them. And she says that, here she expresses that these dangers are like blessings to me. This is, very unique prayer because usually we ask for protection. We don't invite more and more trouble. But here Kunti Maharani is asking for these calamities to come on again and again. Why? Because she says, because if they come, we will see you, we'll have your darshan. And if we see if we have your darshan, means we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. So we'll be liberated from the material world. So it's not a very common prayer, and us, people like me, cannot pray in this way. But at least, if a misery comes, if a calamity comes, we should understand that there's a hand of the Lord, and we should be ready, and we should accept it with more grace, thinking, that probably I deserved worse. Krishna has minimized this and given me some amount of little bit of very little bit of punishment just to purify me, just to um, you know reduce reduce all the karmas or anarthas that I have. So that way we can express our dependence on Krishna. So with that, I will end the session. I mean, from my side, uh, I if anybody has any comments, you're most welcome to say, or any questions I can try to answer. And I would also like, if you like one of the prayers, like especially more than the others, I would like to hear from you.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please feel free to unmute and provide your comments or questions to Shyamalangi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. This is Malini Dasi.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Pranam.
Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Such a beautiful class.
Thank you,
I really,
Mataji.
really loved it. Especially the part where you have broken down the chapters into different sections. It was so easy to actually understand the thought process of Kunti Maharani as well. And I liked how you gave a brief explanation of each verse and gave your own realizations as well. That was very, very nice. I thoroughly enjoyed your class, Mataji. And
Thank you, Mataji.
one request I have is that please keep giving more class.
Thank you for encouraging.
Hare
Yeah, that
Krishna.
this was a debut, but yeah, Krishna willing,
Yes,
it may
yes.
happen. Yeah,
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna, Shyamlangi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. I
Dandavat
also
Pranam.
enjoyed the class, and there are so many things I learned from you and from this class. Basically, in the beginning, when you were talking about the Brahmastra, right? I didn't know that Brahmastra was also released on Arjun
Yeah,
before Parikshit
before
Maharaj.
this, yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was,
So that
yeah.
was something new I learned from this class, and also these prayers. And now I'm motivated to memorize some of these. I was kind
Oh,
of
yeah, that I'll be so happy, Yeah, please, if you haven't started, then please start. Yeah. Some of the like the initial ones are very easy, and I think everyone, and we hear it so often in any classes. These are very heavily quoted. So at least the initial 5, 6 verses, I think everyone should learn. You can definitely learn more, but at least to begin with the first 5 or 6, and we all should participate for the marathon. Even like level 1, level 2, doesn't matter, some level, but we should participate.
yeah. Now I'm motivated to memorize few at least.
Yeah, I think there are lots of sessions going on between devotees. Any more WhatsApp groups, reading calls. So you should join whatever works for you. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
there's one at 5 o'clock, one at 9:30. I know of two. So if you want to join any, you can let me know. I can put you in those
Oh, 9:30 would be good. Yeah, I will do
9:30
something.
p.m. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I
What are
agree
those,
with Ma.
Mataji?
So there is one 5 o'clock. Apara Gorangi takes with some new devotees, like young ladies. She takes
Oh,
like a class just for Kunti learning, Kunti Maharani. Like not learning, just to discuss and get familiar and
oh,
then learn at home, whatever. And similarly, I think Venu Gita started yesterday. She also has a group of devotees, and Sutra Malik Prabhu, he has put a view to. I haven't yet watched it, but I plan to because he sings very beautifully the prayers. So
hmm.
that's one. I think at 9:30 they have something. They just started yesterday, but Apara Gorangi's one is going on for some time now. So I know of these
Hmm.
two, but I'm sure there are other also, Manimal, because everyone is motivated, and I'm very, very happy to see that. Uh, Nice.
Yeah, and you should give more classes, Mataji. That's another thing I wanted to say. I agree
Okay,
with
yeah.
Malini Mataji.
Thank you. And next time I'll try to prepare a little more so that, yeah. This
This
time
was
I took
well
shelter of
prepared.
Kunti Maharani's prayers because I found them easier than anything else. So, and plus, we are supposed to know more because of the marathon. So, both ways. Thank you for encouraging. Thank you, Ashram Madhav Prabhu, for hosting.
Very
Thank you so
nice.
much, Mataji. It was like a recap of what we have been reading for the entire 1 month. So it was very like,
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. So,
Thank Yes, thank you, Mataji, for doing this class. And I don't think you have to prepare more. I think you have prepared well enough, and you focused on the very important points in Srila Prabhupada's purports wherever they occurred. So that was very nice. Um, I think we can close
And
this session now.
thank you.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
Sarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam
pavan
pavanebhyo
Vishnu
vaishnavebhyo namo
Vaishnavesho
namaha.
Namo Namaha.
Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Hare
Jai,
Krishna, Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare
Namaste
Krishna.
Mataji ki jai.
Jai,
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
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 Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Thank you,
Jai.
devotees, for taking time from your busy schedule and joining this class on Wednesday. We'll come again on next Wednesday online only. Now we are going to close the session. Very good.